So apparently the taxi association is stopping vehicles carrying more than 3 passengers and asking them if they are related to the passengers. So if you have a car, you're not allowed to pick up your relatives in the streets. You're not allowed to pick up your children from school, and you're not allowed to use Uber or Bolt in order to travel to and from. And this comes after the taxi association say that the people are taking the businesses away from them, even if you are taking your family somewhere or picking up your family somewhere. You are not allowed to do that. And they are taking people's licenses, car keys, and cars away from them. I do believe that this is now a crime. The moment you take somebody's car away from them without any probable cause, you are now a criminal. And that's called car hijacking, because according to the law, that's what it is. So I do believe that South African police is going to intervene, and the government is going to intervene before things get bad.
So what are your thoughts on all of that?
Yo, that's crazy. It's just getting worse and worse. It's getting worse and worse. And I think it's getting worse and worse because they are going unchecked. Like, they are getting away with it all the time. And they're so used to having all this power in the country, you know what when nobody can tell them what to do. And at this point, this is crazy. You're gonna stop me in my car and ask my passengers if they are related to me. And if they're not, then you're basically gonna punish me for it.
This was bound to happen. It was just bound to happen. So yeah, this is what happens when the government doesn't regulate, the government doesn't seize power over certain industries. The industry itself will end up exploiting the taxi industry because it knows that the government does not regulate it.
Yeah.
And law enforcement stays away from
They're
them.
untouchable.
They basically become
They're
untouchable. Now they're seeing that, okay, now we can actually go attack normal citizens.
Yes.
So I saw this going left as soon as when Uber arrived here in South Africa.
Can you imagine?
Do you remember what they used to do?
Fought them.
They fought Uber drivers. They fought Bolt drivers. They made sure Bolt drivers and Uber drivers were getting a hard time finding customers.
Absolutely.
And they were actually killing.
They were killing them, attacking them. They even designated areas where they cannot go and pick up clients and stuff like that. Yes.
So anywhere outside a mall, anywhere outside of a taxi rank, airports, all of that stuff there, where people actually require these services. The taxi industry has designated that Bolt drivers and Uber drivers cannot go and pick up clients.
How
there.
crazy is that?
So when that happened, and the government did nothing. I just knew that it was going to get to a point like this. This was bound to happen.
Yes.
And unfortunately enough, the government is not doing anything about it as we speak right now.
Even now, like, they're quiet. They are silent about it.
Our government is in somewhat comfortable running like this, like pseudo mafia state, where these industries are like mafia bosses, and so you have taxi owners and they operate like mafia bosses, where they fight for territory, they kill each other, they kill their families, and all that kind of stuff like that. And then you see that stuff as well in like the so-called construction mafia. In the construction industry, there's a construction mafia, and you get coal mafia. You get these people in many different industries operating like a mafia, and the government is just allowing all of this shit. And I'm assuming that because they are benefiting from it. They benefit. And the fact that they're allowing like actual taxi drivers to extort normal citizens who are just driving around minding their business.
Are you kidding me?
Is crazy. Like, there's some instances where people get pulled over and their keys get taken away, the car gets hijacked. You know, the car gets basically hijacked, and you have to pay an extortion fee to get your car back because you gave somebody a lift.
Like something needs to give, honestly, because we are just being extorted left, right, and center.
Now, these taxi drivers in these areas feel like, okay, we're not making enough money. And I can understand Cyril's economy is tough. Cyril's economy is very tough. Things are hard to come by.
It's hard for us all.
And then now they see that...
It's hard for us all.
No, man, we can actually get more customers by forcing people to take taxis.
Are you telling me that all of them came together and nobody thought this was a bad idea? Like everybody thought, yes,
Yes, because the government they knew the government was going to train it. They knew that.
Yes.
So again, it's
and the audacity, because when they're being interviewed, they say it. Yeah, they're not allowed.
They're not allowed, like they're the law.
Are people who own cars allowed to give hitchhikers a lift?
No, they are not. They are not allowed. It's our business. They are infringing our rights because we are taxi operators with permit to load passengers, but people cannot just pick up people because they're not taxis.
If it's a family member, if it is my family member that I'm giving a lift to work.
How do you see your family member on the street?
So I'm supposed to confirm to you that this is my family member and somehow
as I was
prove.
saying, every company's got securities. If you see there's a family member is hiking there and you see there's a patrol car, just stop your car, go to the security guy and explain to them to say, this is my family member, please allow me to pick that person. I don't think they'll give you a problem.
Yeah, they're not allowed. And they're so used to setting law, eh? They're so used to setting law. Like, what's crazy for me is that they will say like, oh no, you know, this is messing with our business, it's taking out. What about what they did to Uber drivers, meter taxis, all of that? Is that not interfering with other people's business? But it's okay when it's them.
This whole industry is just, it's messed up, and at some point the government is going to have to do something.
Yes.
At some point, because now people are retaliating.
Yes.
People are now burning taxis. The community is now attacking taxi drivers because
they attack everyone. It's not like government now can focus, like, which is something that they should do in any case. Focus on alternatives, like make sure that trains are functioning properly, you know, and buses and things like that, right?
I'm thinking. So again, because they benefited. Again, because the government is somehow in cahoots with the taxi association. I'm sure the taxi association has incentivized the government not to make sure that they're running trains,
to kill the trains,
that they're buses. No, they make sure that there's none of that, so that everybody's forced to take taxis. I'm sure there's a deal that's been made that, okay, you're gonna get 15% of our revenue or whatever.
Yes, you just make sure that
there are no trains, make sure there are no buses, make sure the primary mode of transportation in South Africa is taxis. And it's been like that since '94. It's just been like that. We've seen that rail transportation is way cheaper than the taxis. Bus transportation is cheaper than the taxis. All of the stuff that could make it easier for South Africans to travel around the country is not being done because the taxi association has a monopoly over the public transportation system in our country. And now so much so that they're attacking, they're attacking citizens with private cars because they want as much revenue as possible. Which is, and it's so unfortunate that even though we're so used to it by now, we're used to Cyril not doing or saying anything. Something like this should be spoken about. Something like this, Cyril should come out and condemn. Something like this, Cyril should say that he's going to fix.
Yes.
But no. Nothing.
That makes it very clear.
Women are traumatized. Women are being attacked for giving their colleagues lifts, giving their own family members a lift, giving their own children a lift from school. Women are being attacked for that. Because taxi drivers feel like children are now, some children are now old enough to take taxis now.
Oh my God.
And now they're forcing everybody to do that.
So I was traveling from work. It takes and it starts raining on the way. So people know for Christians in BP garage because Invul is still drizzling. So I already called my dad to come and pick us up. My dad drives the Corolla. So I already called him. So I'm going to garage and saying call train because they asked me to come back and a call train. Cool. And then I get out of the car. Okay, we wait. My dad, we are available. So there was this taxi parking lot in the garage. So he takes his seat here. So my dad can't see us. So he does a U-turn. So me and my friend, we walk out and we approach my dad, you know. So he opens the window for us and he's like, how? Because no, we get into the car. This guy comes with a car, especially local. He's trying to block my dad, so I can't see what he's doing. I thought of pump, we were to petrol. And then the other one comes, is like, hey, Baba, hey, you know. And then the guy in the car comes out, and then he goes straight to the window and wants to take out the key. I start screaming, it's not an Uber, it's not an Uber, it's not an Uber, you know. I open the door, it's not an Uber. My dad's like, no, relax, it's fine, close the door. I told them it's not an Uber. So now another guy approaches when I was about to start taking a video. It's like, yeah, stop what you're doing. I did and stuff, you know. Okay, cool. Now we're fighting. We're fighting at the fact that when us get more than because when Mama Taxi, they have the right to tell us what it wasn't an Uber, yes, but what I'm saying is, what if it was? So now I'm forced to keep texting her phone. I'm forced. No.
Oh my goodness.
So
what insanity is that?
We're starting to live in a scary world where if this doesn't get checked now, extortion is going to be the main revenue or profit for all these industries.
Absolutely.
Extortion.
We had protection fees not so long ago. Like, people are just living.
So again, it's all the same thing basically.
It's the same thing.
The protection fees from the shops, the construction mafia, you have to pay them to allow them to allow you to construct there without no sabotage or whatever. Now taxis. Now the taxis are now doing a similar thing where they're forcing people to take their own transportation system instead of like relying on private transportation.
Like, how do we drive our cars in peace? Basically, if you got people, you must be shaken. You must.
Basically, yeah. If you have more than two people in your car, you could be expected to be stopped, pulled over.
We have to give them reasons of why we're in the car together. Where are we going? And like.
Why didn't you take a taxi? Why didn't you take the taxi?
Why didn't you take a taxi? Why do you need to drive?
Again, also they should be. The thing is that's another thing that I have an issue with the taxi association. They're not innovative. They don't look at opportunities and ways to improve. The taxi
they just force you in the old system. Like you must.
The taxi system has been the same. For decades now. For decades, no innovation, no nothing. So when new technologies. So when new technologies come in, right, and disrupt the system, they always fight against it.
They get mad. They don't want to advance.
Instead of trying to adopt it and advance the whole transportation
I think
system.
they stopped advancing when they bought quantums instead of the super scheme.
Yeah.
That was the advancement.
And I think that was by government regulation as well.
Because of regulation.
Yeah, because the Super 16s were old and you needed newer taxis and stuff. So you see, government intervention is needed in these kind of things in order to also push innovation in industries. But again, in this situation, the government needs to intervene. Government needs to take their power back. That's the only way we can stop these kind of things from happening. Like industries cannot extort normal citizens. They shouldn't be doing any of that. But here we are in 2024. A lot of industries are extorting citizens now for money. And the government is not doing anything about that. Sad, but yeah, we're here. Let us know what you think in the comment section below.
Yeah, let us know.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
And keep watching. Goodbye.
We'll check you guys in the next one.